identify. This week is one take week. I'm gonna have to keep all this in, aren't I? So basically, I was thinking this morning about what I wanted to talk about today. And basically what I came up with was my wondering why we often, well, it's not a new topic, it's just why we are so harsh on ourselves. And it was just me thinking about how sometimes, when you're not having the best day, it's not always easy to tell someone about it because it can often feel like you're over-exaggerating. And I think sometimes it's weird because I think what I found is when I try and say things, or if I, not necessarily say things, but when I try and articulate why I'm feeling bad, it doesn't always, I don't know if it always makes me feel better, because sometimes it does. Sometimes writing it down makes me realise that it's not such a big thing, or talking about it makes me realise it's not such a big thing, but sometimes I think saying it as you think it is can be really hard because it's not necessarily the way it is. So for example, you could think that a situation is really bad, so when you talk to someone about it, you paint it as this really dark picture, but then as you're talking about it, you realise that it's not actually such a big deal, and then you end up feeling like you've made a mountain out of a molehill, you've somehow wasted someone else's time, and then it's just like, what am I doing? What? And I think the thing is, I feel like we expect ourselves to have it together a lot of the time, and I think we don't really make it easier for ourselves when we expect ourselves to be able to just fix it ourselves. And yeah, I think that's what I've been thinking about, because when I have bad days, it's often like accumulations of little things, and sometimes I can't even explain why it's not a good day, and then it kind of feels like I'm sitting there trying to figure it out by myself, because I feel like I'm the one who knows me best, because I don't know if I've mentioned this in past videos, but basically this year, because of the fact this is like me living out, so I've been living quite a bit independently, which makes me, I think, subconsciously feel like no one else really knows what my life is like, and therefore if I wanted to talk about work, or if I wanted to talk about anything to do with my life, I don't necessarily have the people to put it into context with. And at work, sometimes if you have a bad day at work, it's not necessarily you can't talk about it, but sometimes it feels like, I think it's just the fact, coming back to it again, it just feels like we have to have it together all the time, and somehow showing weakness is just a bad thing. And I think it's interesting because I think part of the reason why we see weakness as bad is because we expect ourselves to be able to address problems and solve them, and it's kind of unspoken that if you don't say you have a problem, then you must be okay and you must be able to deal with everything yourself, and I think that's really dangerous. So basically, moral here for me and anyone else, I don't know what's going on outside, is just to make sure that you have an outlet, whether that be writing or just make sure that you have a way of putting things into context which makes you feel better about the situation and doesn't allow you to fester on it when it might not be as big a deal as you think. And also, you don't have to go through things by yourself, and you shouldn't have. Wow, that's what you get for doing one takes. And you don't have to feel like you have to fix every problem by yourself and that the solutions only come from you, because they don't. And often, just because you may think you're good at something doesn't mean you have some way you can improve. And I think sometimes facing problems is hard because you don't know if you can improve, and that makes it even scary, because you're like, how am I going to do this? I just realised I don't know who's tomorrow, so I think this is the one part where I think I'm okay to be like, I'm going to step away for a second. So, pause it, people. I'll be back in a minute. And it appears that I have the pleasure of saying, once again, Liz, we will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.